Ever look at your amigurumi and think it needs that little bit extra? Hey Yarny peeps, my name's Sarah, aka Crochet, and today I am going to show you how to upgrade your amigurumi without sewing anything on. After designing over 60 amigurumi patterns for Etsy, magazines and commissions, I found a few new ways to add some little details to your amigurumis. So enter needle felting. Some tiny fibres that will definitely add a little pop to those cute creatures. Let's go add some super cute details to your super cute amigurumis in a really simple way that will make them pop. And I'm going to see if I can do it without putting holes in my fingers as well. So in today's video, we are going to show you how you can jazz up your cuties with some simple needle felting supplies. Now I have here a block. It's just literally a foam block, nothing special. A little needle felting needle. You'll have to excuse it because it's just leaving a little bit to be desired at the minute. And I also have a lot of needle felt. So this is simply wool roving. It's nothing special. It is literally wool roving. I got the whole kit off Amazon. I'll leave it in the link below. But it's got so many colours to it. So it just gives you a little bit of variety as well. I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to show you how to add stripes. So we are going to give this little cat a little bit of a facelift. We're going to turn him into a ginger and white little stripy cat. And I'm going to show you how to add a nose and mouth. Also a little tail. So we've got a bunny here as well. A very plain bunny at the moment. But I am also going to show you how to add a little tail as well. Just be very careful with this needle. You don't necessarily need this until we make the bunny tail. So we are going to start with our little cat first, and all I'm going to do is grab a white wool roving, and we are going to just do little and often. It's not necessarily about adding a load and then praying for the best. You just want little and often. So I'm going to grab a little bit out to start with and try and just pull a little bit off, and then we'll pop that to one side. And this is what we've got. And now wool roving comes in quite like long pieces. So what you want to do is just split it down into smaller bits. And then because I'm going to add stripes, this sort of shape is perfect. Now, you want to probably sort of piece out where you want to go on your cat. I kind of want to go a couple of stripes here, the same on the other side, and then some on the tail as well. So all you want to do to begin with is just stab and push the wool roving in. It's really quite simple. And I'm going to do sort of like some triangular shaped stripes. So the first thing we need to do is anchor this wool roving into our piece. Don't worry too much about making it perfect this first sort of go round. You just need to get the felt onto your amigurumi. So all you're going to do is place it where you kind of want it to go, and then we're just going to stab into our piece little, and don't go too deep. It's little and shallow. You can see now it's not coming off. So that is literally as simple as it is. The next bit is just going with your own creativity. So I'm going to just carry on doing this bit here. I'll speed it up so that you don't have to sit all the way through it. And then you'll see just literally is little pushes through the needle felt to get your sort of stripe, and then we'll shape it up afterwards. Okay, so this is literally the simplest way to just hash something in. You can see it's not coming out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back on itself, because you can see the stitches through the needle felt here, and we want to add some depth to our needle felting. So fold this back on itself and build the colour up. That is all we're going to do. Same thing again, just push the needle felting into our work and build that colour up. It is looking a little bit messy right now. Just bear with the process. This is one of those things where you really have to trust the process. Alrighty, so we've got that colour built up. What you want to do now is snip off the end of this wool roving here, because that is pretty much how long my stripe is going to be. And you can see at the minute it's not a stripe, it's just a line. It's a non-conclusive line that's just doing nothing. So this is where our shaping comes in. And what we do is you go either side of the piece you've just put on and sort of colour it in. So this is where your shape will come in. It's literally like using this felt to colour in. Now you might be sort of thinking, well, it's not going to have a conclusive line or anything like that. Not yet. No, we're going to build it up. And the beauty about doing this as well is the stripes look a little bit more natural. They aren't going to look so refined. Now that might be the look you want, and if you do, then this method probably isn't for you. But what you can do is experiment. So you might sort of make a couple of plushies up and think, oh, well, I'll give it a whirl. I'll have a go at experimenting with needle felting. But don't like the look of it. You've got a spare one, you can just put the eyes, features and what have you in as you normally would. Now you can see here, so what I'm doing now is I'm going down the line of my needle felt with my needle and just draw and then push, draw, push. It just gives you a little bit of a smoother edge. You can push in all the bits that are sort of sticking out on the edge. And then I'm going to go over and do exactly the same. So you can see I've got quite a nice clean edge here. I'm going to go over and clean this side up as well. So you can see here now I've got a pretty good triangular shape. There are a few fibres that just need sort of taming a little bit. But that triangular shape is pretty good. And all I'm going to do is crop off that with some scissors and then just blend in these little bits here. So it looks like they've blended into the amigurumi, just like it would if a cat had a stripe, it'd look blended into the fur. And that is our first stripe. So it's pretty much, it's kind of like you're colouring in with the wool roving. You're sort of getting it, popping it on, putting a little bit down, looking back at it, is it okay, let's colour a bit more in. And you really can make any shape that you want with this wool roving with just a little bit of prodding and sort of like drawing that line out. So I'm going to pop all of his other stripes on. I'm going to pop on one here, two here and some on the tail. And then we are going to come round and do his face. This is our cat. Now I've gone asymmetrical. I've added a little bit of detail there. We've got two stripes there. We've got three stripes on the tail and we've got one stripe on the side. Now what I'm sort of getting at is from the front at the minute we don't look, you know, it don't look any different. But then you span round to the side and he's just got that little bit of extra detail. Few things to bear in mind when doing this with your plushies. I think the first thing is I have literally just used the cheapest yarn out of my stash. I don't think would adhere to chenille yarn because I think it's too fibrous. but anything acrylic, I've done it on cotton, I've done it on cotton polyester blend. Those sort of fibres adhere really, really well. Also, what kind of look are you going for? So I don't make realistic animals. My animals are all very kawaii style, cutesy. So where I put my stripes doesn't really matter. But if you're going for a more realistic vibe, think about where the stripes on that animal would be and place them in the same way. It also allows you to do things like triangles. You can have just a stripe. You can have thin stripes. You can have thicker stripes. So what I'm going to show you now is how to pop a little nose and mouth on, and then we will do our bunny tail as well. Oh, I will just show you eyes on the bunny as well, how you can get facial features on, how you can get simple eyes on, and also how you can add extra parts. So let's pop our nose and mouth on our cat. And for this, I am going to use some black wool roving. Then for this, little and often is the way that we're going to go. You don't need a huge amount for details anyway. What I will say, the tip I'll give this time is to roll it in between your fingers. We're going to be very gentle with the facial features because they don't need a lot of sort of stabbing, as it were, with that needle. Roll it in between your fingers to get a thinner line of wool roving, and then just flip that first bit back on itself and roll again, because you sort of want a neater edge to begin with. You're going to work with this neat edge as a start, and we're going to just place it and anchor it in the middle of our eyes. Just do a couple of little stitches, stabs, pokes to get that wool roving anchored on. And now remember I said for this bit, gently. And then all you're going to do is follow that line down. And when you've got to sort of where you think your mouth should end, stop, twist your yarn, not used to these new terms, twist your wool roving again and bring it up into either a little smile, or you might just want to just do sort of like that sort of vibe. Whatever vibe you're looking for, bring it up into that. Now I'm going for a smile. Smiles can be a little bit trickier because it up either, that's the other thing. I'm just going to cut off here, otherwise we're going to have a real big mouth. You see, it's got a real big mouth. So don't worry if you mess it up, because what you can do is you can bring, it's all about manipulation, so you just bring it in. Bring all this wool roving right in. So remember when I said gently, now we're going not gently, because we don't want his mouth to be as big. And you can see instantly that I've thinned out the line here, and it's not as clowny shaped. So I'm going to repeat the other side, and then I'll show you how to just pop a little ball on for the nose. So we've got our mouth on there, and all you're going to do now is roll up. I'm probably going to use half of that because that is going to be far too big of a nose if I use the full stuff. Roll it up into a ball, literally into a ball. Mush it onto your face and then just prod it with your needle. So a couple of prods and you should have it anchored on. And then you can shape it to however you want it. This is a nice one if you don't like using those plastic noses. I mean, just think it's a little bit of a different way to add a little bit of personality, and it's really simple and easy. So that is our cat. What we're going to do now is we are going to show you how to do eyes on your next piece. So for me, we've got a bunny, and I'm literally going to do two big black eyes with some white detail in them. exact same process as you have just done for your nose. Get your little bit of wool roving, roll it into that ball, and then pop it on wherever you want those eyes. Now bear in mind I'm doing a kawaii style, so kawaii style features are always quite exaggerated but also quite far apart, so they don't follow the normal facial structure. Looking at that now, I'm probably going to add a little bit more in, but again, you can build on these bits, so you don't have to add, like, you're looking at that and thinking, oh, it's quite small. Yeah, it is, but you know what, you can add a little bit more to it. So I'm going to pop the other side on, make them even, and then I will come back and show you guys how to add whites. Okay, so we have our bunny. Yes, granted, looking a little bit cursed right now, but bear with, because this is where the magic of needle felting comes in. So this is the way that we are going to just literally pop a little white shiny bit into the eye, and it's not going to look sort of weird and off because I haven't like used a Posca pen on a safety eye or something like that. So literally, now this can be quite fiddly, but all I'm going to do is just pop some white wool roving in here. Now it looks like I've used quite a lot at the minute, but I am going to knock some of this off with some scissors. I just want to make sure that I sort of get that vibe that I'm looking for. And can you see how black hole eye cursed gives it a little bit of personality? So finally, we are going to stick a tail on our bunny. Now for this one, we are going to need to bring back this little pad that I showed you guys at the beginning. I am going to give my bunny a pink tail because I think that fits nicely with the vibe of her colour scheme. And this is sort of more of a needle felting technique, but you get to start with a bigger bit of wool. And what you're going to do is literally just take your wool here, ball it up, roll it, ball it, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that rhymed. And stick it on your little pad thing. And then all you're going to do is literally poke your needle into the ball and keep turning your ball over your pad as you're doing it, because if you keep poking in this way it will stick to your pad. A little tip that I neglected to tell my daughter the other night, and she made a flower and it stuck completely to this piece of foam. She was not a happy bunny. So just keep poking your needle through this little ball, rolling it around all of the time until you have a shape that you are happy with. Apologies for the audio change. My microphone decided that it was going to cut out halfway through this video, so I've had to go into voiceover mode as opposed to in real life mode, which is what I like to call it. Just keep poking your little fluff ball as much as you feel like you need it to get it into a round sort of ball shape. So I'm happy with my shape now. I'm happy that not only does it look like a fluffy tail, it's not too perfect. I quite like this as opposed to a pom-pom because it just looks a little bit more, for me, aesthetically pleasing. The way that we are going to attach this to the bunny is literally place it where you want it to go and poke around the sides of the ball. So do not go through the middle, go around the sides, because if you go through the middle, you're going to lose its shape. So try and stick to those sides. Eventually it will stick to your little amigurumi. You're just going to need to work this one a little bit more because it's a protruding shape. It's a 3D shape. You're just going to need to work it a little bit more to adhere it to the bunny. Keep going with it. Again, this is another thing where you have to just trust the process. If you do for some reason flatten out your bunny tail or your shape or whatever it is you're making, go back when it's adhered to the amigurumi and just reshape it. You can reshape needle felting. It's quite an easy medium to work with. And there you have one adorable little bunny amigurumi tail. I just think these extra little details are a great way to add a little bit of something to your amigurumi pieces in a really simple way. So let me know in the comments, will you be trying any of these techniques out? Have you already used needle felting in your amigurumi, or is this something that you would never have thought about? And also let me know if there are any techniques you would like me to do a tutorial on as well. New videos go up every Wednesday and Sunday, and I would really love for you guys to like and subscribe this video. It helps me out a lot and it's completely free. You can find all of our socials in the description below. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.